and Felicia sort of touched on what's important when big stories arrive. Um, trying to guide the conversation in a useful direction is always a challenge because people want to just talk about the big things. I mean, we see so many blog posts about Obama should do this and what Obama should do, and I tune out and why just skip past any article that starts that way, because if you're taking your time to write an article that's advising Obama what he should do, you're wasting your time and mine because it's never going to happen. That's why, of late, I started writing things about focus on the states. You need to talk to your governor, talk to your state senator, because Washington isn't going to do anything about this border crisis. They're simply not going to. The only way to get Washington to do anything about this border crisis begins in January of next year. And what we can do to make that better is we can win elections in November. So the only attention you need to be focused on Washington about is on electing Republicans in Washington. That's the only thing that matters in Washington right now, because the rest of it is just a waste. It's, write it off. If you want to pay attention to Washington, pay attention to the elections in November. If you want to pay attention to the border crisis and get something done there, be talking to your governor, your state rep, your state senator. And voila, apparently Rick Perry is like Kevin Williamson, and he reads my posts and listens to the Refinery, because Rick Perry is now sending 1,000 troops down to the border. You're welcome, guys. I recommended that he do that, and I recommended that he just do stuff and send them the bill and say basically Barack Obama, so sue me. Guys, we're having an impact. We really are. Did you know that there was an article about me this week? Did you know I was the subject of the entire interview? Yeah, I'm something. Okay, sorry, that was a little ego moment there. What? I have ADD and I get distracted.
And you're a narcissist.
a fine piece of journalism from John Pierre.
From John Pierre.
That was a fun interview to read.
It was the best it was the best article ever written, ever, because it was about me. It was totally fascinating. I liked it.
Thanks, guys.
I am a benevolent narcissist.
We give it 5 stars.
Yeah. There we go. Awesome. But so we do this stuff. If you want to be involved in stuff on the border, you talk to your politicians at the state level, and then if you want to actually do something, sure, you can engage in a protest. But what you can really do to really put action to helping stuff at the border, you go to Valfurious and volunteer there to recover bodies that are hidden out in the brush, or you go to McAllen and hand out water and diapers to the baby children. Those are the things you can do. But standing up and screaming about what Obama should do or what any Washington politician should do, that's just kind of a waste of time. And I think what we can do here in the Refinery, since we think this way, is try to direct conversations and make sure that on our own part, we skip past the articles about what Obama should do and just ignore it. Don't even bother commenting on it. Don't bother telling people it's a waste of time to think about it. Instead of telling people don't bother with that, we highlight and discuss the things that should be happening, which is, okay, maybe now we need to convince Jan Brewer to do what Rick Perry is doing. Now we need to talk to Bobby Jindal and get him to adapt some of Texas things, and let's have this whole movement of the states taking over and doing what Washington is failing to do, and send Washington the bill. Hey, maybe the hashtag is send Washington the bill. I don't know.
That's the hashtag. And you're totally racist because you forgot Susana Martinez. You didn't mention her. And
I knew there was a state in there that, yeah, exactly. Sorry, Susanna.
But that is good, to focus on the action items of things that you can accomplish now. And what better way to put the feds off their game, by the way, than having states really assert power because of, say, an emergency crisis. Giving the opportunity for a state to say, hey, you're doing things that are detrimental to my citizens. I'm going to handle it, and I will send you the bill, or you're going to come and handle it. One or the other. Do you want that power in your state more in your own hands, or do you want to cede it to Washington? Rick Perry didn't do 1,000 National Guard troops on the border because he woke up and felt like it. There's significant pressure in Texas to do that. So let's move to the next state, and the next state, and the next state.
Exactly. And that puts the energy, takes the energy away from bitching about Obama and puts the energy directed at encouraging Jan Brewer and that other person, Susana Martinez.
Terrible. But I think you're right. I mean, this is something that George Templeton at Rodent Politics talked about a couple of weeks ago, and it is absolutely valid, and it is something that can work, and it's something that puts momentum in our favor, and that's pretty rare. I mean, that's not something that we get all the time in the conservative movement. So we need to capitalize on it and get that going.